Hi, my name is Megan McMaster. This is the range of motion video. First, I'm going to start with my head and work down to my toes. Unfortunately, I did not have a subject able to do this with me today, so I'm just going to do it myself. And I know we would do this 5 times each motion, but just to save time, I'm going to do it once or twice. I'm also just going to do it unilaterally, not bilaterally, to save time as well. So first you'll start with the patient's head. Depending on the patient's case or situation, if they're incapacitated or not, obviously there's active and passive range of motion. So first I would start by doing flexion with their head and extension back to normal. Hyperextension. Make sure they keep their back straight and their shoulders down and back. And then I would do ear to shoulder and make sure that they weren't going like this to cheat. So ear to shoulder. And then I would do chin to shoulder both ways. And then I would do the circumdental all the way around. Next, I would do shoulders and make sure they can move their shoulders up and down. And then I would also do an extension all the way up, or flexion, and then extension down, and then hyperextend all the way back. Next, I would go up and over, and then across, just kind of like if they were putting on deodorant. Make sure they could do daily activities. Then I would go down to the elbow. I would make sure they could hand to shoulder, extend, flexion, extension. And you can see if they could hyperextend. I obviously cannot do that. You can also do the circumdent with that as well. Then make sure, and then you can also, be the best way to show, rotation to make sure it can rotate both down and up and back. And that kind of helps showing off the shoulder range of motion as well. Next, I will go to the wrist. Make sure flexion and then extension and then hyperextend down. Make sure, and then side to side. My joints are very flexible, so it might look weird, sorry. And then when you do the hands, make sure that you can, spread them out. Make sure the patient can spread them out, and they're not as double jointed as I am. You want to make sure the thumb has good range of motion as well. You want to make sure they could close into a fist. Open back up, close, open. Then we'll move down to the lower extremities. If I can make sure if you can see this. There we go. You'll want to do forward for flexion, and extension down, extension back. Make sure they can down and back. Then you also want to abduct away from your body, and then adduct in and over as well. I don't know if you can, but kind of like you would cross your legs. Go over and make sure they can do that. And even sometimes you can do it behind, but I know that's not necessary. And then you'll do the knee. You want to make sure that they can extend and flex back and extend. Can do that as well. And circumference. And then next, you'll want to do the ankles. You'll do dorsiflexion and dorsiplant, the flex and plantar. And also make sure they can wiggle it around. Same with their toes. make sure all their joints are able to move freely. Obviously, it will be different for each patient, especially if they're bedridden. It'll be more passive range of motion, and you can also use the tool to help monitor if their range of motion increases or isn't getting better.